Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're trying something new today. This is Starsector, formerly apparently known as Starfarer, and it's a new game I've been playing, and it's friggin' awesome. Basically, you start off as the pilot on a single ship, usually a very small one, and then you earn money by attacking other ships, attacking pirates. There are factions in this game that you can not necessarily join, but you can start attacking the factions' enemies, and it's an alpha, I think. So it's not out yet, and there's a lot of stuff. It's got potential. The combat system's in, as far as I can tell. The ships look gorgeous. It's really, really fun combat. It's building up to be kind of like a Mountain Blade or so in space, and I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, let's start a new game. Okay. Let's pick myself a face. Let me pick myself a face. I always think that's a cool face. That one's a priority. I think my current other save game has I don't know. Anyway, let's go for something nameless, shall we? Nameless, and it's Captain Nemo. Iron mode? Forget Iron mode. Campaign help? No. That's like useful if you're first starting. It'll tell you loads of things after about what happens at what points. But no, I've played it enough. I'll explain things to you as they come up. It'll be easier that way. Right, okay. Right, then it gives you basically a couple of questions just to determine A, your initial skills and what ship you get offered at the beginning. Okay, earlier in your career, you either served as a junior supply officer in an independent systems navy, hired out as a gunner on a mercenary ship, found employment as an assistant engineer on an exploration vessel, spent time as a co-pilot on a patrol ship in an independent system. Did something else, I think, basically means that you start up with no skills. I mean, you start up, instead of having pre-allocated skill points, you start with skill points to spare. Like, you don't, you can allocate them yourself, as opposed to having them preset. However, I think the downside for that is that you don't get offered a unique ship, a specialized ship. You get offered the standard shuttle, and that's it. So we're going to go, we've been hired out as a gunner on a mercenary ship. Then more recently, you've either served as an adjutant in the Hegemony Navy. Hegemony is one of the factions in the game. Performed the duties of a quartermaster on an independent warship, helmed a patrol ship operating a backwater system, or took over the chief combat engineer during a lengthy campaign. I think these ones give you, like, for example, that'll give you some leadership skill. I think that might give you the navigational skills, that might give you engineering skills, that might give you some combat skills. Navigational skills are always useful because they make you go faster. And like if you've played Mounted Blade, the ability to chase down the things you're chasing is key if you want to be aggressive. Because of course the bigger your fleet is, the more bigger ships there are in it, the slower it is, so the less things you can actually chase down. Because if you have a huge fleet, it's easy to take down smaller fleets, but you can never catch them. Helmed a patrol ship, there we go. And easy, I think it gives you a better starting selection of ships. You can get up to a destroyer class in the early selection, but we're not doing that, we're doing normal. Okay, this is our choice. Our choice is between the Mercury class attack shuttle, which I really like. I really, really enjoy this ship. It's actually a really, really good ship. And this is the Vigilance class custom frigate. Again, not a bad ship. This is like, I think everyone gets the Mercury, this as a choice. This is a choice for everyone. And this is the one, depending on the answers you gave. You can have quite a few choices here. Vigilance has like a pulse laser and a medium missile launcher on it. But not much. I'm going to go for the Mercury. I like the attack shuttle. It's just a good ship. Okay, so I started with 2 points in combat. And wow, it didn't get anything in navigation. So yeah, these are the skills. Industry isn't in the game yet, but I think that's going to be taken care of. Things when you build stations and so forth, that stuff is going to come from over here. The combat skills, again, it's things basically about your ship, things about your ship that affects your ship in combat. So the actual stat here gives you some bonuses, as you see, like for example, Combat 2. You get +4 maximum combat readiness and reduces deployment CR cost by 6%. CR is combat readiness. The higher that is, the better your ship is in combat. And these stats can have a maximum of whatever point you give them. So for example, these guys can have a maximum of 2 at the moment, because combat is 2. I cannot put any points in these unless I raise these first. Leadership increases like your fleet-wide skills. Like logistics is how many ships you can have in your fleet, so that'll increase that. That'll increase the command points, which is how many commands you can give in combat. I'll come on to that later. The experience you gain from your crew, because you gain experience and your crew gains experience, like soldiers in Mountain Blade. And fleet logistics, again, that leads into that. The bigger that is, the more ships you can have in your fleet. The technology is about other stuff, like mainly about your fleet. Ordnance points is the guns you can have. Gunnery implants, again, it's only you. It says here, target leading for auto-firing weapons and so forth. Piloted ship is only the ship you pilot, of course. Flux capacity, I'll explain what flux is. Flux dynamics, all ships. Anyway, we're going to put a point in technology. We're going to put a point in navigation, which increases our maximum burn, depending on hull size. We need that simply because it'll give us speed. It means you can chase... 1 point in navigation is always useful in early game, because that means you can chase down things of the same class as you. Because if you have a frigate and its burn rate is 6, everything with the same kind of frigate is going to be burn rate 6, you can never catch them. But let's give you, as a frigate, it'll give you a burn rate of 7, which means you can slowly catch up to them. And what else are we going to put on points in here? We're going to put points into flux dynamics. Which, we're going to put points. I can put a point in there, and I'm going to put a point into top speed. Speed is always a good thing. This is stuff in combat. Burn is outside combat. Speed acceleration, that's in combat. Okay, we'll start the game. Okay, I'll pause. Okay, this is our little ship here. This is our little Mercury class attack frigate, and here we are. This is Corvus 2. This is the... You start off in near the Hegemony orbital station. Like I said, this is early game. There's not a lot of stuff in it yet. For example, officers aren't implemented and outposts aren't implemented. 2 things I'm very looking forward to. So officers, I think, will be like other generals, maybe other fleets you have, or maybe they're just bonuses for your fleet. I'm not sure. Outposts, I'm looking forward to building my own of that. That's a huge Hegemony system defense fleet. That's 3. 3 of those are high-class battleships. That's a cruiser. Those are 3 destroyers, carrier, 3 repair gantries, 2 frigates, and 3 fighter wings, and those at the bottom left are bomber wings. Yeah, slow as hell. Maximum burn 2 because of the 3 battleships. Our maximum burn is 7. It would have been 6, but it's 7 because of the thing. Okay. Hegemony station, you can trade there. You can repair, you can refit your ship there. Jump points, or you go into hyperspace from there. Anyway, map. We are here, Corvus 2. So the 2 factions in this system are the Hegemony in Corvus 2, and this the Tachyon Corporation, or whatever it's called, in Corvus 5. They're 2 opposed factions. They are technically at war with each other. You are neutral to both. So you can quite happily just play along. Red are pirates, and they are based off here. Corvus 3. And they are hostile to you, but you can still trade at them. You can't repair at them, but you can trade their pirates. They'll take any money they can get. So if you can get to their base, which is not that difficult, especially if you've got a faster fleet, you can trade up there. They've got some interesting things on their base. That one over there, I'll show you afterwards, that's an abandoned storage facility. I think that's what they've got for a home base at the moment. Anyway, that's enough talking. So Hegemony fleet, attack fleets. These are the defense fleets. There are some minor pirates around here. There's an entire other system over. Like, if you go into hyperspace and you go over there, up that direction, there's an entire other system, but only with independent merchants which don't have a home base, and you can raid them to your heart's content. And another faction, which I forgot what it's called, it's Sindarin or whatever. They're a different faction. They're unopposed in their sector pretty much, so they're quite strong. Again, they've got some really awesome ships over there. Anyway, first things first. In this strategic mode, you can just you move around by clicking. I've paused it. You move around just by clicking around, and you see your speed. Here I have my supplies. You use supplies per day, so I've got 9 supplies. I'm using 0.2 of them per day. Can I catch up to that? No, he's like, yeah, he's burn 8. I'm not catching up to him. He's pursuing my fleet. He's going to come after me though. Yeah. So fuel you only use in hyperspace. Yeah. Fine, chase after me then. I'm not opposed. Wow, really? Come on. Thank you. Yeah. So we got our Mercury-class attack shuttle, the ISS Tonatiuh, Mercury-class attack shuttle. Combat readiness is a value that basically 50% is standard. Anything above 50% you get bonuses for. Anything below 50% you lose bonuses for. Every time you deploy a ship, it loses combat readiness. The smaller classes of ships have a deployment time. For example, peak performance per second. I'm pointing at my screen. Why am I pointing at my screen? I can't move my mouse. Peak performance per second is how many seconds I can operate before I start to lose combat readiness just by being out in the field. Crew level is how much my experience of my crew, which affects combat readiness. Deployment points is, if you've got a huge fleet, you can only deploy X amount of combat points. It's very liberal. Like, this is deployment points 3, I must have like 80 deployment points or something of that value, so I can field a lot of ships very early on. F1 for more info, it gives you the whole breakdown. Or loads of stats, like for example, fuel, maximum crew, fuel capacity, maximum burn, 7, because it's including the +1, it's 6 + 1. Fuel per light year in hyperspace 0.5. Supplies to fully repair 20. Ordnance points 25. Deployment 23. Hull shield. An omni shield means you can move the shield. Oh god, you can move the shield around. All those things are either very self-explainable or they are things I'll explain in combat. Again, the pirate ship, you know exactly what it's got. It has 2 light assault guns, 2 salamander missile racks, medium-range missiles, and 3 light machine guns. Whereas we've got 1 point defense laser and 2 IR pulse lasers. Anyway, so you can open a comlink. At the moment, nothing does that. You can either have like whoever it is threatening you, or whoever it is going, no, please don't attack us, if you really outnumber them. Anyway, let's go. We can move into engage. If you have more than 1 ship, you can transfer command, because you're into this ship. And you can transfer command in combat, but in combat it takes time, because you are a physical person in this. And if you transfer command in combat, you drop out of your ship in a shuttle pod and have to fly to your target ship in a shuttle pod, which is dangerous in mid-combat to fly around in a shuttle pod. It's fast, it's small, but it cannot take a hit. Anyway, let's go in. We are in combat now. Okay. In combat. Things to learn in combat. Speed. We're moving my mouse around. Shows here. Things to know in combat. Things to know in combat. Yeah, okay. You speed up with W, slow down with S, turn with A and D. You strafe with Q and E. Oh god, here it comes. Oh god, I'm locking on with R. I zoom out with my mouse wheel. I'm flying backwards because this guy scares at me. You right click to bring up your shields. An omni shield means it's a shield I can rotate around my ship. If you hold shift, your ship will face wherever you're pointing your mouse to. So shift is a very useful key to have. Right click, of course, to fire. Anyway, yeah. Flux is one of the key points of this game. Shields, flux. Oh god, it just flamed me up. Crap. I might be dead. Though salamander missiles are not designed to deal damage, they're designed to snake around your ship and hit your engines and turn them off. I gotta be fast about this because otherwise I'm going to start losing combat readiness. Yeah, flux is like heat, essentially. Flux is like heat. Firing weapons builds up flux. Getting your shield hit builds up flux. And flux is a bad thing, because if you fill up completely on flux, you go into overload. And there's two kinds of flux. There's soft flux, which is the stuff I'm generating myself, and there's hard flux. If you see on my flux bar, there's a little like line going down, slightly, about maybe 10%-ish. That's the separation between hard flux and soft flux. Hard flux occurs when things hit your shield, and hard flux will never ever go away if your shields are up, where soft flux will always go away slowly. Right. What that guy did is vent. You can vent your flux after a while. If I hit V, I vent my flux, which turns off shields and weapons, while letting you move away. Oh god, this is gonna be bad. I gotta remember they have flares. Yeah, those flares didn't quite work out. Yeah, peak active performance time is running out quick. Lashes are tricky with early ships because they've got a shield. There's a lot of pirate ships that don't have shields and they're easier to deal with. There you go. Hey, I'm punishing this guy quite hard because he's staying here. He can't keep his shield up for very long because his flux is quite high. Benefits to low flux. If you have 0 flux, you get a huge speed boost. Anyway, I need to get out of here. I'm on low combat readiness as it is. Right, so tab brings up this screen, which is the command screen, and you can issue command points. Yeah, the deploy points are 80. Like, that costs 3 to deploy. I've got 77 to spare. It's plenty. Command points, you can give orders in an RTS kind of style. You're limited to the amount of orders you can give at 3. You do not get any more in the game, like per mission. So the commands are very, very vague. You don't micromanage at all. You just say, for example, like, you guys go secure that area, or whatever. Even if so, if you run out, you cannot give any more specific orders. Yeah, if you run out, you'll not be able to give any more orders. But you can still order the fleet to engage the enemy, because Search and Destroy cancels all orders and asks your ships to just go around and looking for things to kill. That's usually at the end of a battle. And Full Retreat is, again, all ships run away. So we're going to run away. We're going to order ships to retreat because we are losing combat readiness. Slowly going down. 56. Combat stresses. Yep, we're out of here. We enter to retreat. Not a great first start, but it's better than that than lose the ship. I will disengage. Yeah, the enemy ships harass your ships as they retreat, causing much disruption, but ultimately do not force a battle. If they harass you, they just shot down my combat readiness. They got in the way of my escape, and my combat readiness has really, really, really gone down. Which means that it'll take some time, it'll be repairing itself outside combat, but encountering combat now is a bad idea, because I risk hull damage and critical malfunctions if I go into combat. Very, very bad thing. Okay, things that happen after combat. Because I fled, I have a huge burn rate. I have a huge burn rate boost, which is now 12. And because he won, you have a burn rate penalty. Whenever you win combat, your burn rate is reduced to 1 as you regroup after combat. It basically allows whatever that's escaped you a chance to run away without you immediately catching up to them again. Right, all repairs completed. My combat readiness is down here. It's going up. What else is there? This is my fleet logistics. How many logistics have I got to spare? Because I've got 14 maximum logistics points, and the ship only costs 1, so I've got plenty logistics to spare. Average hull. Ah, Christ! I'm being chased by lots of ships. Like, for example, let's see, who do I want to attack? Okay, I don't want to attack that guy. No. I can take out, like, maybe one of those ships, but not both of them. No. I need supplies. Because my supply rate's gone up because they're using supplies to rebuild my oh god. Right, we'll go in there and resupply. Repair my ships. So 4 supplies have to be. Our ships are full back up to full combat readiness. I need to buy some supplies. I can only carry 20 things at maximum, so I'm gonna buy. Oh god, I'm gonna buy 10 supplies. it costs a lot. Supplies are expensive things. Supplies are where most of your money will come from. Whenever you kill something, you get to go through the wrecks and grab their supplies. A lot of money will come from that. Right, anyway, you've got 3 Marines, 10 regular crew, 10 fuel. We can buy some, for example, you can buy it, like that battleship there. You can buy things down here as well. That was the one we had offered to us in the beginning. That's the one we just fought. Kind of the one we just fought. That's the hull we just fought anyway. Let's see if we can get something else. I'll see if I can win at least one combat. I want to find one son of a bitch. Yeah, that might be that one. It might be that's the guy we want to deal with. Yeah. Okay, because that's he's got the fighter wings, which are bad, but he's got that guy. That guy's a huge ship, but that ship has no shields. So everything I hit him with will cause damage. So hopefully I won't be too screwed up by that. Okay, here's the fighter wing. And also these fighters don't deal a lot of damage, which is useful. One. Our flux. Also, another interesting property of flux, because there's lots of different damage types, and flux is bad for a lot of things. But however, the higher your flux is, the more damage energy weapons deal. Your energy weapons get actually a damage bonus with a higher flux value. Okay, wow, they're full retreating. The other ship didn't even come into combat. Yeah, I cannot catch that up at all. That's got a speed of 250, my speed is 192. I'm not getting anywhere, so might as well let it retreat. End battle, enemies defeated. Held in reserve. I'm going to deploy you again. I'm going to deploy the ship again. Yep, they're coming back in. Fair enough, come back in. I'll deal with you this time. Yeah, my combat performance is slightly degraded at the moment. But I will win this combat, and then... Yeah, so yeah. Flux goes up by firing weapons and getting hit in your shields. Oh god, that was bad. That was very, very bad. I turned down my shields at exactly the wrong moment. Anyway, this is why this guy's good, because I can literally just kite him. And his face, he's got no shield, so he just eats frontal damage. And he's deploying a hell of a lot of flares, I gotta say. But my flares are... Hell god. That was bad, that was horrible. Why are my shields off? Oh god. That's the weapon I'm worried about. His antimatter blasters, I think that'll deal a lot of damage to me. But yeah, I'm... He's fleeing, he's fleeing, he's fleeing. Get behind him. Start hitting his engines. The yellow numbers are armor damage, the red numbers are hull damage. So yeah, there you go. Bam. Destroyed, shield up. Oh, gets hit by his own missiles on the way back. Lovely. And that's that. I'm assuming, unless the fighters are coming in for another go. Because combat hasn't ended. There you go, they retreated. Combat ends automatically if there's nothing else on the field. And they were in retreating. They cannot even be deployed. Their combat readiness is so low, they cannot be deployed in combat. Well, we can harry the retreating enemy forces, but no, not even that. We're just going to send out the salvage teams. Okay, we send out the salvage teams. After tactical adversity, your forces have an opportunity to cleanly disengage. We're just going to cleanly disengage. We're just going to let them go. Yeah, if you do not harry the forces, you can let them go, and then you don't suffer the speed penalty. Okay, we get some money from the CPU cores because all the money is bitcoins apparently, and they're stored actively in the computers. We can pick through the salvage. This is the hilarious bit, okay? We have 20 storage capacity. Just grabbing that missile launcher is too big for our ship to carry. It's huge, and we're going to grab everything. That does two things. First of all, we've got way too much fuel. That's more fuel than we've got fuel tank space. That's a hell of a lot more cargo than we've got cargo space. A hell of a lot more. What basically means is that we basically like latched it onto the hull and are carrying it around outside, and it's a huge waste. We're like spending 27 a day because we're storing it incorrectly. We have not got the cargo. Yeah, maintaining the excess capacity is costing 19 supplies a day. The rest has been directed into repair work and combat readiness repair work. Here we have our we have 10 crew. We need 1. The right number is the skeleton crew. You need at least that many to operate the fleet without any problems. Marines, you can use in boarding actions. They're stronger than crew for boarding actions. Let's go. Okay. We gained experience. 3 crew members have advanced to veteran status. If you go into my cargo, we have 3 veteran crew. They offer you a maximum combat readiness than your regular crew. Like a regular crew means that if your ship is fully built up with regular crew, its maximum combat status is 60%, not counting any bonuses you give it. If most of the ship is a veteran crew, it'll be 70%. If most of your ship is elite crew, it'll be 80%. Again, higher combat readiness numbers are better. Anyway, we are way overburdened with fuel and resources, so we need to run out of here. Avoid everything we get our hands on, and oh god. Disengage. Yeah, the enemy forces harass your ships as they retreat, but causing much disruption, but ultimately they do not force a battle. That's good, because we were very low as it is, and we definitely cannot fight now. We're just going to go straight into the hegemony station. Sell. Why can you sell? Okay, we can sell. Good. There's a couple of... I think it's not sure if it's working as intended or a bug that sometimes you can't exactly just go into the station. Right, what are we going to do? First of all, we're going to repair. You get a huge surplus of supplies, use them to repair. Then we can trade. We can sell all of this stuff. Sell all of it. Vulcan cannons are okay, actually, as I'm here, I'm going to explain a lot of stuff because I've got the space to do it. Before I end the video, I'll explain a couple of more things. There are 4 damage types in the game. There is kinetic damage, which is given by... What does kinetic damage? Yeah. Kinetic damage. Kinetic damage is usually things like machine guns and machine guns mainly, and autocannons. Varying degrees of machine gun give kinetic damage, and they're really good against shields. They'll weaken the shield generators very, very quickly. They get a damage bonus against shields. They raise the enemy's flux a lot if they hit the shields. So essentially, you want to break down shields with kinetic weapons. Then you want to attack with high explosive weapons. High explosive weapons have a damage penalty versus shields, but a damage bonus versus armor and hull. So you want to basically burst through the shields with kinetic and then damage the hull with high explosive. Energy damage, which is what my pulse lasers do, and what any energy weapon does, does not have a bonus or penalty at any point. It deals straight damage against everything. With the added bonus that if your flux is high, it deals extra damage. So it's kind of a standard, it's sort of midway between both of them, but they tend to be quite heavy in flux requirements, which kind of works. They use a lot of flux to fire, but the more flux they use, the stronger they become until they conk out, essentially. And there's also fragmentation, which is shit versus pretty much everything. However, it's high DPS. So it's mainly used for point defense and against missiles or against very small ships like fighters. Like they're amazing against fighters and missiles. They suck against everything else. So yeah, let's sell what we got. This is a huge missile launcher. These are the Salamander missile launchers. It's an antimatter blaster, which is hugely powerful. Like for a small energy weapon, it does a lot of damage. Like it does 1200 damage, which is a lot of damage for a very small thing. The long-range point defense laser, and a Vulcan cannon. We can sell all those. Good. Again, we're carrying too much fuel, so we're going to sell 15 of the fuel. No, we need to sell 20 of the fuel because we can only carry 15. So we're going to sell that, and so we can only carry 20 supplies. We got 143, so we're going to sell 123. And make more money than we've got at the moment. Pretty much. We're going to double our money with these supplies. Brilliant. We've now got 20,000. And now we can play around. And next time we will play around, I will re-prepare my ship. Oh god. Crap. Yeah, next time I will come back and I will upgrade my ship for a bit. Maybe sort of change a couple of weapons around. I'll show you this screen, which is the refit screen. If anyone has any names, we can change the name of the ship. You can change the designation. This is an attack shuttle, but it can be whatever we want to. It's going to be our fun party shuttle, and we can give it the name whatever we want to. If people come up with a name and want to let me know, and I will change the name of the ship. Also, any designations they want. And I will explain this screen next time. I will see you then. Bye!